Finally, today we have 60 minutes of yoga, and we're gonna get started right in that downward facing dog. We're not gonna waste any time this morning. We're hopping right into some movement, pedaling the feet back and forth, really lifting the tailbone toward the ceiling, pressing into the palms, especially the thumb and that pointer finger, and then find a bit of stillness. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale out through the mouth. Breathe in, out through the mouth. Now this time, take a nice big breath in through the nose and then out through the nose, firing up that Ujjayi breath. And that breath is going to be our constant throughout the practice. Here with us, guiding us. One more breath. And then let's roll forward to a high push-up position. So stack the wrists right under the shoulders. Reach the crown of the head forward. Press back into the heels. Stay connected in with your breath. Find strength in the pose. Lift the hips back to your downward facing dog. Roll forward, high push up. One breath in and out. Breathe in, lift the hips back to your downward facing dog. One breath, let it go. And then roll forward, high push up. One breath. Lift the hips back to your downward facing dog. Roll forward, high push up. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Walk your hands just about one handprint back. So we're in that shortened downward facing dog. Right hand's gonna come to the outside of your left calf or shin there, whichever you can reach for. And then look under the armpit. Feel that nice twist. It's early in the practice, so be gentle. And then place the right hand down, the left hand to the left shin, right shin. So we're twisting. We're breathing here, finding length, and then a little twist. Place the left hand down and then walk back into that high push-up position. Lift the right toes. Really fire up that belly. And then lower the toes. Lift the left toes. Keep a long spine. Then we're going to come to your hands and your knees. Drop the belly, look up for cow pose. And then curl through the spine for cat. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, curl. You can add a little extra hip movement here if that feels good. And just take about 2 more rounds, using your breath as the guide. Good. From here, let's hover those knees just an inch off of the mat in that bear plank. Really activate the core. Press down through the finger pads. One more breath. And then lift your hips. Find that downward facing dog. So now hopefully this down dog feels a little more open. You feel a little more length in your hamstrings than when we first started our class. So take a couple movements here before we settle. Really press the heels into the mat. And then lift your toes, tiptoeing to the front. Teeny tiny little steps. Ragdoll, bringing your hands to your opposite elbows, letting the head hang heavy, putting a slight bend in the knees. Then we can kind of just rock this out here. Swaying side to side. Shaking the head yes and no. Letting all that tension drip off the crown of your head. Release your hands to the mat. Heel toe your feet together to touch. Take a halfway lift. And fold. We're going to bend the knees, reach the arms tall for a chair pose. So we don't need to take this chair pose very deep yet. Just get settled. Relax the shoulders, keep the heart lifted. The toes are light. And then sink a little bit deeper, sending those hips back. And a little deeper. Coming a little deeper, now maybe we were bringing the body forward. And then we're going to sink just a little deeper until we are able to come all the way down to the mat. Bring the feet to tabletop position. So the knees are right above your hips, and then let's reach the arms up to the sky. We're going to reach the right arm back and the left leg long. Really pressing the lower back into the spine and then come back to center. So reach left arm, right leg, and then come back to center. Reach long, back to center. Reach long, center. One more each side. Bring it back. Last one. Bring it back to center. Bring those palms to your thighs. Lift your head and neck off the mat. Press the palms into the thighs and the thighs into the palm. 5 breaths here. Now give yourself a hug, squeezing those knees into your chest. Grab behind the knees and start to rock and roll the length of your mat. And we're going to meet in a forward fold. Take a halfway lift and fold. Let's step back to that high push-up. Keeping the knees off the mat or maybe lowering them. Lower to your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Rock forward, bring your knee to nose. Extend, 3-legged dog. Knee to nose. Extend, 3-legged dog. knee to nose. Extend, three-legged dog, bend the knee, open the hip. A few breaths here, opening up through the right side body. And then release the right toes down to the mat. Left leg reaches, three-legged dog. Rock forward, knee to nose. Extend back, three-legged dog. Rock forward. Lengthen back. Rock forward. Lengthen back. Bend the knee, open the hip. Lengthen the breath. Press down through the palms. And then release the left toes down to the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Lift your heels, step or float to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift and fold. Root down, rise up for your extended mountain, and then forward fold, hands come through your heart center. Breathe in, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Step back, high push up, lowering halfway. Shine the collarbone forward, upward facing dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Take a breath and let it go. One more here. On the next inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float to the top of your mat. Take a halfway lift, then fold, root down, rise up, extended mountain, forward fold, let it go. Halfway lift, fold, high to low, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. Lift your heels, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold, step back. High to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float to the top. Take your halfway and fold. Root down, rise. Forward fold. Halfway and fold. High to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, step or hop. Halfway and fold. Reach up, extended mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift and fold. High to low, push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Finding that stillness. Reach the right leg long. Rock forward, bring knee to nose. And then step the right foot to the right thumb. Spin the back foot flat. Come on up to your warrior 1. Breathe in. Breathe out. Interlace your hands at your tailbone. Lengthen. Shine the heart before you fold forward, humbly bound warrior. Bringing that right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. And then feeling the length in the back leg. Feeling the pressure through the edge of that foot. Slow down the breathing. Surrender to the pose. One more inhale. And then come on up. Reach the arms. Bring the hands to the mat. Step down to a high push-up. Lower halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Reach the left leg long. Rock forward, knee to nose, and then left foot steps, left thumb. Back foot spins flat. Coming up to your warrior one. Making sure both hips are tracking forward. Really actively pressing the edge of the back foot into the mat. Interlace your hands at your tail. Breathe in. Fold forward for your humbly bowed warrior. Let those knuckles drop. Smooth out the breath. Soften the face. One more breath in. And then come back up to your warrior one. Reach the arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands come to the mat. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Step or hop to the top. Take a halfway lift and fold. Bend the knees. Reach the arms up, chair pose. Hands through the heart, forward fold. Halfway lift, fold, high to low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right foot steps to warrior one. Root down through the feet, lift the arms. And then bring the hands to the mat. High to low, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot, left thumb, warrior one. Root down to rise. Hands come to the mat. High to low. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breathe and let it go. One more breath in and out. Lift the heels. Bend the knees, step or hop to the top. Halfway, fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms up, chair pose. Forward fold, let it go. Halfway lift, fold. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot, right thumb, warrior one. Hands to the mat. High to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot, left thumb. Reach up. Hands to the mat. High to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. Step or hop to the top. Halfway. And fold. Bend down. Reach chair. Hands through the heart as you fold. Halfway lift. And fold. High to low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot, right thumb. Reach up, warrior one. Hands come down. High to low. Shine the heart. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Left foot, left thumb, warrior one. Hands to the mat. High to low. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath in. And then let it go. One more in through the nose. Clear it out through the mouth. And then back to that breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Right foot steps to the right thumb, setting up for your crescent lunge. Reach the arms up. You're on the ball of the back foot, stacking the shoulders over the hips. Sink just a little deeper in the right knee. Steady your breath. Steady your gaze. Bring your hands to your heart. Breathe in, find length. Breathe out, twist. Left elbow comes to the outside of the right knee. Really squeeze the back leg. And really press the palms together. From this position, we're going to open up into a half moon. So bring the right hand to the mat. Float the left toes up, reach the left arm up. Finding length through the side bodies. And then bend into the right knee, gently land in a warrior two. Reach those arms long. Sink in to the legs. Feel that grounding. Take up space on your mat. And flip the right palm, reverse your warrior up and back. And then cartwheel the hands to frame the foot. Turn the toes into a runner's lunge. And then reach the right arm up for an easy twist. Keeping both hips square to your mat. One more breath here. And then really pressing down through the left palm. Find your side plank. So option to lower the left knee. But really reach those fingertips toward the ceiling. Lift your hips just a little higher. And then come back to your high plank. Lower halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot stepping to your crescent lunge. Setting up those feet so they are on railroad tracks. You don't want to have them on a tightrope. A nice wide base. And then reach the arms tall. Relax your shoulders down your back. Breathe in, hands come to your heart. Breathe in, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Lengthen through the crown of the head here. And then press those palms together. Push back through the left or right heel. Breathing in, breathing out. And then open to your half moon. Left hand comes down, right toes lift, right arm reaches. Open up that hip so the toes point to the side wall. Actively flex the foot. Find length. Find lift. Feel the openness of the pose. Bend into the left knee, softly land warrior two. Reach the arms long. Soften the gaze over the fingertips. Press that left knee back and sink a little deeper. Flip the left palm up and back, reverse your warrior. And then cartwheel the hands down. Come to the ball of the back foot. Left arm reaches. Easy twist. Squaring off those hips to face your mat. And then preparing for your side plank, so actively pressing into the right palm, bringing the left leg back to meet the right. Want to make sure the wrist is stacked below the shoulder. And then come back to your high push-up position. Lower to your forearms. Lengthen out through the crown of the head. Press back through the heels. 5 breaths. One more, and then lower the hips. Sphinx pose. Breathe in, breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in and breathe out. One more, breathe in, breathe out. And then release down to the mat. Bring the hands outside your shoulders. Take an upward facing dog. And then back to downward facing dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float to the top. Take a halfway lift and fold. Find your chair pose. So bend the knees, reach. Really sink the weight into your heels, wiggle your toes. And if you peek down, you should be able to see your toes. So shift those hips back if you can't see them. Bring your hands to your heart. Lengthen through the spine. Twist to the right. Press the palms together. Bring the hands closer to the center of your sternum. Keep breathing. Find length as you inhale and then just a little extra opening as you twist. Length, then twist. One more breath. And then shifting the weight into your right foot. Lift the left heel. Slowly kicking it back to your twisted crescent lunge. And you may need to resettle here. Find that twist again, find that length. But really press through that back heel. Stay with your breath. From here, left hand comes to the mat. Right arm reaches, and then the left toes lift. Revolved half moon. So we're twisting, and then we're lengthening. We're pressing back through that heel as though we were going to step on the wall behind us. One more breath. And then we're going to have a big transition to open up into a warrior two. So bend into the front knee, step the back foot back, and then open up the arms. Just one breath here. And then flip the right palm, reverse your warrior, and find your vinyasa. High to low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float to the top. Halfway lift. Hand fold. Bend down. Reach. Chair pose. Sink just a little deeper. And then shine the heart forward. Hands come to the heart. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Actively pressing those palms together. Lengthen through the spine. Send those hips back. Keep the breath steady and smooth. Shift the weight into the left foot. Lift the right heel and begin to extend the leg back to find crescent lunge, slow motion. Inhale, find length, exhale, keep twisting. Inhale, and exhale. Right hand comes to the mat, left hand reaches, and those right toes lift for revolved half moon. So focus more on the length of the spine here, and let the twist be small. Let it be subtle. Big transition to warrior two as we bend into the front knee. Cartwheel those arms open. Find length through the arms. Reverse the warrior up and back. Cartwheel the arms down. High to low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Heels lift. Bend the knees. Step or float to the top. Halfway and fold, and then roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae, finding mountain pose. So eagle on the right, right arm comes under, right leg comes over, and then sink deep into the left knee. Squeeze everything into the midline. Keeping eagle, arms lift the right knee. Slowly step back to warrior one. Breathe in, maybe lift the elbows up. Find that little back bend. Breathe out, bring it back. One more, breathe in. And out. Now pivot the toes to the side wall. Keeping those eagle arms, breathe in, go back, forward fold. Coming up with a flat back. Pivot to face the back of your mat, so the right toes face forward. Bend in the knee, and then turn the left toes into warrior one feet. Breathe in, look up. Lift the elbows and come back. One more breath in, lift, and then bring it back. Release that bind, and then eagle on the left. So the left arm comes under, left leg coming over, sinking into that imaginary chair. Continuing to breathe. Steady your gaze. Lift the left knee up. Stepping back to warrior one. Breathe in, look up. Find that little back bend. And then come back to center as you exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back to center. Turn the right toes to face the side wall. Breathe in. Forward folds, keeping that bind. Let the head hang heavy here. And then with a flat back, coming all the way up. Pivoting back to the front of your mat so the left toes face forward. Put a bend in the knee. And then right foot, warrior one feet. Breathe in, look up, and back down. One more time, breathe in, look up, and then release the bind. Step that foot forward, finding mountain pose. Ground down through the feet. Breathe in through the nose. And then out through the mouth. Dancers on the right. So grab the right foot. Reach the left arm. And then go up before we start to find that back bend. Lifting the leg. And then reaching that arm forward. Release, cartwheel the arms. Right arm reaches. Left hand grabs the left foot. Lift up before you go forward in your dancers. Actively putting pressure from the foot into the hand. Release. Reach both arms up. Hands come to your heart tree pose on the right. So the right foot comes above or below the knee. Pressing that foot into the leg and then the leg into the foot. So you really feel that pressure toward the midline. And then pressing those palms together. Maybe you grow your branches. Reach up. Look up. Hands come to your heart. Release the right toes to the mat. Tree on the left. Really open the left hip. Press that knee back. Do what feels right with your arms. Keeping them at heart center. Maybe lifting them. Or a reverse namaste behind your back. Opening up through the shoulders. One more breath. And then release the left foot down. Reach up, extended mountain. Forward fold. Halfway lift. High or low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps, warrior one. And then open into your warrior two. So really make the feet wide. And that front heel intersects the back arch. Flip the right palm up and back, reverse your warrior. And then straighten the front leg, coming into triangle pose. Right arm lowers, left arm reaches. And we're active through the side body here. And then we're keeping their shoulders stacked. So bring that right shoulder forward a little and then drop the left shoulder down the back. Reverse your triangle, so right arm comes up and back, keeping those legs straight. And then one more time into your triangle pose. Bring both hands to frame the foot. Come to the ball of the back foot and then wiggle the right toes to the edge of your mat. You can lower the back knee and then lower down to your forearms for lizard. Really open up through the hips. If you want to take your right hand and flex your right foot and then just gently add some pressure to the knee to open up just a little more, you can. And then bring both palms back to the mat. Lift the back, knee off the mat. Bring it halfway up, finding pyramid pose. So straighten both legs. All 10 toes are tracking forward. The spine is long, the head is heavy. The breath is steady. Take a halfway lift, come to your fingertips. Leave the left fingers down, reach the right arm up. Twisted triangle. One more breath. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Step back to your high push-up. Find forearm plank. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Press back through the heels. And then come back to your high push-up. Lift the hips high. Downward facing dog. Left foot steps, warrior one. Reach up. And then open into your warrior two. Set those feet. Open up through the collarbones. Create space. Flip the left palm, reverse your warrior. Then straighten the front leg, coming into triangle pose. So left arm lowers, right arm reaches. Actively reach those fingertips to the ceiling. Then reverse the triangle, left arm up and back. Back into triangle. Few more breaths here. Then bring both hands down to frame the left foot. Walk the left foot to the edge of your mat. Lower the right knee down for your lizard lunge. You can drop to your forearms. You can use that left hand for a little extra opening. Applying some pressure gently to the left knee. And then coming back to tall arms, lifting the back knee off of the mat, stepping the right foot halfway forward, straightening the left leg, pyramid pose. Breathing, softening. Take a halfway lift, coming to your fingertips. Right fingertips stay down, left fingertips reach for your twisted triangle. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Lengthen through the spine. Come back to your high push-up. Lower to your forearms. And breathing here. Come back up. High push-up. And then lower all the way down, slowly, to the mat. Bring those arms to your sides. Big toes together to touch. And then lift the head. Lift the arms. Float the feet. Finding that locust pose. Finding length through the crown of the head and reaching those toes back. You can really feel the breath in the belly here. One more breath. And then release down to the mat, left cheek, for a gentle neck stretch. Bring the forehead back to center. Bring the big toes together to touch. Lift the head. Lift the arms and the feet. Float in your locust pose. Squeezing the inner thighs together. And then bring the right cheek down to the mat. Let everything release. Bring the forehead to the center. Bend both knees. Grab your ankles. And then lifting the chest and the thighs. Find that U shape for bow. Breathing deeply, so much so that you might rock forward and back. One more breath. And then keep the knees bent, but release the hands and bring them underneath your forehead. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth, releasing your lower back. Push back to a child's pose. 3 breaths here. Ground down. And then walk your hands back. Take a seat and then swing the legs around, bringing them forward. And then one vertebrae at a time, lengthening all the way down to the ground. We're going to start with some crunches. So bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat, lifting up and down. Actively pressing the lower back into your mat. Keeping these slow and controlled. Exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down. Two more. And then bring the feet to tabletop. Reach the right leg long. Bring the right elbow to the left knee and then back to center. Left leg long, left elbow, right knee. Back to center. Bicycle crunches, twisting. Slow and controlled movement here. One more each side. And then give yourself a hug. From here, we're going to hold on to the right knee and extend the left leg long. And then switch it out. So right leg long, left knee comes in. Option to lower the head, neck and shoulders down, or keep them lifted. Just moving slowly here, one knee at a time. Keeping those feet flexed. One more on the right and on the left. Bringing both feet up to the ceiling. We're going to lift the hips just a little bit, as though we were going to put a footprint on the ceiling. So lifting up and lowering down. It's a very small movement here, activating the lower abs. Lift and lower. Three more. Last one. And then take those feet overhead for plow pose. So the toes connect to the floor in front of you. You can bring your hands to your low back. Keep the chin tucked. And then for shoulder stand, lift the feet up to the ceiling. Squeezing the legs together. Gaze is at the toes. Lowering the feet back to plow overhead. And then bending the knees. For Deaf Man's pose. Giving yourself a hug. Lower vertebrae by vertebrae down to the mat. Keeping those feet in tabletop. Right ankle comes above the left knee for our figure four stretch. Reach in between the legs, grab behind the knee, and then pull the legs closer to the chest, keeping both feet flexed. Option to extend the left leg for an added hamstring stretch. And then from here, hug the right knee into the chest, drop it over to the side for a supine twist, anchoring both shoulders into the mat. Coming back to center, bring the left knee in to meet for a little squeeze, and then left ankle above the right knee, figure four. Reach through your legs, bring those legs a little closer to your chest, maybe extend the right leg long. And then hug the left knee into the chest. Drop it over, supine twist. Active pressure into your shoulder blades, pressing into the ground. come back to center. Squeeze both knees in for a hug. Then open up into happy baby, pressing into the feet with the hands, opening up through the hips, and then anchoring that tailbone to your mat. Maybe rock side to side. And extend one leg out and the other. And bring the legs in for one final hug. Wrap the arms around the shins. Lift the head, neck, and shoulders up. Squeeze everything before releasing into Shavasana. Feet wide. Palms up. Eyes closed. Surrender into the mat. Start to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Take a nice full body stretch. And then roll over to your right side, resting your head on your right bicep. Breathe in for gratitude. And then come to an easy seat with your hands at your heart. Bring your thumbs to your forehead. Bow forward as we say namaste.